Hey guys and girls, I hope you're all well. This is just a quick few minute video just to react and talk about some of the disgraceful things that went on today in London concerning certain England football fans. Just basic thuggery, racism, some of which has gone on obviously on social media when it comes to the racism, but just terrible, terrible stuff, unacceptable, and they should be thoroughly ashamed of themselves. They have brought shame on this country today, and they have ruined England's big day in the final, their first final since for 55 years. And I wish I could talk about the football and stuff. Obviously, a gallant effort from England in defeat. The right team won on the day. Italy definitely deserved it. But, in a way, I'm not in the mood to talk about the football because, sadly, this stuff still goes on. Stuff that shouldn't go on in 2021, or at least when you see the scale of it, because this wasn't just a few isolated incidents. It was pretty widespread with a certain group of England fans today. I'll get onto the racism in a moment, but just to paint you a picture of what I've heard, and some of it I've seen on social media. I've seen footage of it, so I know that this isn't being blown out of proportion or exaggerated. But for example, a couple of Italian supporters today who got in with the England fans. They were in the English section, which obviously happens sometimes for whatever reason at these matches. But they celebrated when Italy scored today, and they were brutally attacked as a result by a bunch of English thugs. They were badly beaten, bloody, all the rest of it, by these, it was like a group of them. It wasn't just two, but a group. They outnumbered them. And I think other supporters tried to intervene and help them out. But I was listening to the radio earlier, and someone recorded it on his phone, in the stadium. And he actually took it to the police and spoke to a police officer, and the officer apparently said to him, "We'll go and sort it out. We'll go and apprehend them, whatever, in a moment." But they never did, and it's a shame on that police officer and shame on the police there today, if that is true. And obviously, this person has no reason to make it up. I think maybe they were intimidated by the England fans, but that is their job at the end of the day. And from some of the reports I've been hearing, is the police and the security at Wembley today were understaffed. There was too little of them, considering what a big match this is, a big major sporting event, and the prospect of this, because let's be honest, certain England fans have form on this. This is not a one-off. This has happened at past tournaments, and that's just horrible to hear what happened to those Italian fans. There's been other incidents I've heard about, stewards being attacked, being abused for no good reason. There's never a good reason for some of the violence. I've heard of a female steward being jumped on, England fans throwing beer and that at people, sort of trying to bust up a merchandise stand I've heard of, and just all sorts of horrible stuff, which is, There's no room for it, and there's no excuse for it. There's, being drunk isn't an excuse. People throughout the world get drunk, and there's no real problem. You shouldn't. It's no excuse for this sort of violence, this sort of abuse, and I think they should be thoroughly ashamed of themselves. And we have to stand up in this country and not accept this sort of thing anymore, because it should be a thing of the past. And I think the way to sum it up for me is that it kind of ruins the day and drags the mood down even more, or more than the result of the match ever could. Because the result of the match, from an English point of view, it's disappointing. And it's obviously sad because of the nature of the fact it did go to penalties, and it was a very close shootout, but England just came up short. And obviously people can analyse the match and talk about, well, they came up short and why. And as I said, Italy were the better team and deserved it. But at the end of the day, the stuff that has gone on today, throughout the day, from England fans, certain England fans, as always, it's a small minority ruining it for others, but it's just cast a huge shadow. This has been a very positive tournament, I would say. Mostly, I think we've seen some really good games. It's been competitive, some exciting action, some good goals, and obviously, after a tough year and a half, whatever it's been now, it has brought the nation together. I know that's a cliche, but it is true. But just stuff like this, just in a way, it's in danger of ruining all that progress and the good sort of spirit, because we have to put the spotlight on this. We can't just let this stuff slide, and the media have a big part to play in this. And I mean, before I forget, I obviously have to talk about the racism which has gone on, probably some in the streets, but also social media, and just the England players, the Saka and Rashford, and they've been, I've heard they've been abused on social media with like racist attacks, and I mean, after the night they've had, it's just the last thing they need, and it's obviously absolutely disgraceful. And I can just give you a bit of a flavour from certain stuff I've heard, like casual threats towards Rashford about, when he goes back to play next season on the opening day, you better watch out. Obviously, negative comments about the players taking the knee, some lame-ass comment about at least the Italians, their whole team were actually Italian, just racist bullshit, and it's been pretty rampant online. And to actually go after the players on their Instagram accounts, I believe, is just crude, nasty stuff, and it's utterly disgraceful. I can't believe it, really, and I guess in a way I should expect it. Again, it's worth saying it is certainly in terms of the fans and that in the ground and on the street, it probably is a minority, but it's still way too many, and the racism is just awful, and we have to think about the way we want this country to go. I think at the moment the country is very divided for a lot of different reasons, and I think, to be perfectly honest, we've got a current government who thrives on that. They enjoy it. It's a big part of their strategy, and I think certain people at least, need to wake up to that and sort of hold them to account and realise what they're trying to do, because it's pretty blatant as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I mean, obviously the racism needs to be tackled and the thuggery needs to be tackled. Another thing was these idiots breaking into, essentially, fighting their way into the stadium. They didn't have tickets, and yet they sort of muscled their way into the ground, you kind of have to question the security a little bit on that one. But in any case, they did muscle their way into the ground and then proceeded to make life very difficult for other fans, English and Italian fans. And I mean, just what a shit show, really. What a sham. And I know I've seen certain people on social media just say, well, that's why I don't support England. I don't want to root for them because of English fans. And you know what? I can't really blame them. I can't argue too much with that. Obviously, it's a personal choice whether you support them or not. And there's reasons to and reasons not to. Obviously, I choose to. I think you can't really take that out on the players, and it is like a minority at the end of the day. But I totally understand the sentiment, and I totally understand where those people are coming from, and it's absolutely horrible, and this stuff still goes on. It's never acceptable anyway, but there's no way now in 2021 that we should still be seeing and hearing about this stuff. And yeah, it's up to us to fight it and stand up to it and just push the people in power to do more, to do better. So that's about all I want to say about it tonight. You're welcome to share your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, I welcome all views basically within reason, but just let me know what you think of the situation and what can be done. And, if you want to share your own experiences, then please feel free. But I will put some links in the description, like Black Lives Matter link, and I think maybe the link to the FA if you want to get in touch with them and encourage them to try and do something. But I'll put a few links anyway. But that's all I want to say, because I think sadly it has overshadowed the game of football today, and once again gives us a bad reputation on the world stage. So more needs to be done is my basic message. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay safe and see you soon.